Okay, today I got timetable number 3 from the Santa Fe Railroad, Western Region, Valley Division, dated for Sunday, October 25th, 1987, at 12:01 a.m. Standard timetable. The left page of the inside cover is who is in charge, where. Right side, table of contents. It tells you all the divisions we're going to have here, or subdivisions. And then table of contents with special instructions coming down the line. Explanation of characters. These characters will be on the timetable for each division or subdivision. Then you have explanation of roadway signs. So if we go with a T is a turning facility we know as a Y. So when we go to the timetable section here, this is the Mojave subdivision. T shows that there's a turning facility at Barstow and a turning facility at Bakersfield. When you come down here, you have a double line. The double line gives a break that once you get to Mojave, you're on the Southern Pacific Railroad until Kern Junction, and then into the Bakersfield yard. Make it easier, you can get both sides at the same time. Here you have speed restrictions, switches, and then it gives the speed you can go through the switches down here. There we are. Try and find the right distance. Next, you have Sunset Railway Company. Back in the day, the Sunset Railroad and the Arvin subdivision were traded off with Southern Pacific. So some people say it's like every 5 years they trade off. Someone else said that every year they trade off, but I knew they traded off back and forth because depending on the year of the timetable you have, it is or isn't in the Santa Fe timetable book, and it's in the Southern Pacific timetable book. And now both of these have been spun off and are operated by the San Joaquin Valley Railroad. First subdivision, now known as Bakersfield subdivision on the BNSF. This one shows 2 trains in the morning, 2 trains at night. Operating. There's a lot more San Joaquins nowadays. Come over here, and it gives you a list of the tracks for Bakersfield. On this side, we have Porterville subdivision. It shows it went from Jastrow to Lanco to Oil Junction, and then there's a double stripe here because it went out to the Famoso branch of the Southern Pacific to Ducor and continued on. Today, none of this exists. There's a small, maybe 4-mile section of the Famoso sub that exists, but as far as Porterville subdivision exists, everything after Oil Junction, after you're off the Famoso branch, basically from Ducor north, all gone. No tracks remaining. Everything pulled up. The only place you're going to find rails and track are on private property where the railroad didn't go in and remove anything. Next page, we have Oil City subdivision, now operated by San Joaquin Valley Railroad. Some more information on stations on the Porterville sub, gone. On the opposite side of the page you have Visalia subdivision. That too went the way of the birds. No longer exists anywhere. Tracks were sold, removed, lock, stock, and barrel. Next we have second subdivision. Second subdivision is now called the Stockton subdivision. And it basically goes from Calwa, the Fresno yard, all the way to Richmond. With stops along the way. I got this paper clip here. I use paper clips instead of folding pages for my note taking. Down here it says speed limit for trains in between Kawa and Port Chicago. You can do 70 miles an hour if you don't have 10-pack cars, you don't have cabooses, you don't have MTS. All the lists of, if you don't have this, you can do 70. And then this is mile marker, speed limit, why there's a restriction, if there's a curve, or there's a grade crossing, or a bridge. And then this gives your speed on the right side. So if you were operating on the Porterville, or the, actually, if you, this is in your bag, you also have a Southern Pacific timetable, because you're on Southern Pacific tracks between Mojave and Kern Junction. So you'd be carrying two timetables with you when you're working this branch or this division. All divisions, special instructions. And you'll see something like Rule 26, last paragraph, page 30, amended to read this. So the rule book are constantly changing. They're adding something, they're subtracting something, making it easier, making it harder, all the way down the line. Here's some fun color stuff. Now this book is so old, it says aspects of color, light, and semaphore signals. So the little triangle is the direction the semaphore would be in for this light. So let me do zoom in here. So here the semaphore is straight up and down with the green, horizontal with the red, horizontal with the black, and all of these mean clear, proceed. Then you have approach limited. Here's the colors on this page. This is the name, and then that is how that name applies. I'm still learning railroad signals. Sometimes I know it, sometimes I don't. Is it confusing? It is to me. So red, red over red. All these reds mean stop. If there's a number plate, I think, no. These are stop and proceed because they have number plates. These are stop because there are no number plates. So. And then the next page are more rules. Hazmat, we won't worry about that. We'll do the colored pages here to show you where you put these type of train cars in the train, so if something leaks or something goes boom, the crews don't get hurt. Switching restrictions. Don't let these roll on their own. You have to stop, unhook, stop and hook up, and take them to where they're going. Gee, I don't know why you can't hump a explosive car, you know. It hits something else, things go boom. This is a class, make, type locomotive and particulars about them. I've got an older timetable from Union Pacific showing their steam locomotives and their classifications of that. Okay, here is second subdivision, now known as the Stockton sub, showing the hills and dales between Kawa and Richmond. Then here's the Mojave sub and the Bakersfield sub. They're basically flat. Mojave, not so flat. These pages are left blank intentionally. And then here's the Valley Division. Starting out of Barstow, here. Coming up Arvin, seasonal. Coming down to Taft, seasonal. Here's Oil Junction. This branch is gone, all the way up to Orange Cove. The Corcoran branch is gone to Cutler, and to Calwa it's gone. Cameo Spur still exists. It's run by the San Joaquin Valley Railroad. Alpaw down here, that's West Now line. They're on their own now. Fresno, coming up to the split at Stockton, up to Sacramento, or to Richmond. Back page is talking back and forth on the radio to a foreman when they're doing work on the railroad, and you've got the green or the red or the yellow signboards granting permission to come through while they're working. And then at the bottom, the speed table. We all know that a mile in a minute is 60 miles an hour, but this breaks down to even slower speeds. There you go.